This is incredibly exciting being out here as dawn is breaking. Welcome back to Hiking with Kathleen. Today I'm at Westminster Ponds and I'm out here today preparing for a hike that I'm bringing folks from my nature club called Nature London. They're coming out on the hike tomorrow morning. So I'm just casing it out today and oh my gosh, I love being out here by myself. This is where it's so serene and full of bird song. I'm going to try and focus now on, I see there's a female wood duck up in the tree and I'm going to very quietly see if I can capture her for you. So I'm just finishing up here at the Boardwalk. This platform is one where I've been standing for about an hour. Mary Lou is in the background. You'll see that she's also searching out birds in this area. She's a really good spotter, shares information in terms of interesting things that she has seen around the city of London. And one of the things we were focused on, we saw the pie-billed grebe, but it was kind of swimming away from us, so it wasn't a really good clear shot. But we did have a chance to see an American coot. And I saw one here a few weeks ago. Actually, there was a collection of about 4 of them. And in this particular case, I was trying to focus on the American coot's feet because they have lobes between the toes. So they're unique, and I wanted to be able to film that so you could see it because it was actually perching on a branch. So now I'm gonna just mill around this area and try my luck, see what else there is to see, because I am planning out this hike, as I mentioned, for a nature club when I bring them out here tomorrow morning. I wanted to just step off the boardwalk and stand right here at the edge of Saunders Pond. So this is a pond where you get a lot of different forms of migratory birds that are coming through just to have a little rest and fill up on food because they're migrating through from their southern wintering grounds up to their northern breeding grounds. Sometimes those breeding grounds are right here. This is the final stop. So we're just starting to see warblers that are coming through the area. And of course, you know, some of the water birds. That American coot was a nice treat. But, and you see several pairs of nesting Canada geese that are scattered around. Sometimes the way that you notice that there's a nesting pair is you see the male basically standing guard. The young are going to hatch any day now. So that'll really add a lot to the water. And then having seen that pair of wood ducks, they're tree nesters. So as much as it feels kind of weird seeing ducks in a tree, they actually are looking for a space where maybe they could have a cavity That's what they will nest in, and usually quite high up in the tree. The male doesn't stick around. He just sticks around until she lays her eggs, and then he's gone. So, but soon enough anyway, ducks are gonna, the egg, they're gonna be hatching for the different species of ducks, and we'll be seeing the water livened up by the presence of the ducklings. Yeah, there's just this melody of red-winged blackbirds all around. Okay, so I'm basically in a construction zone. On the other side of where I am, there's construction going on the road, but this is what's going on in between. This is where I've had a chance to see a Canada Goose. It's the female sitting on her nest, and the eggs are hatching. So the young are just around her. The male has come in from behind, and he's there to sort of oversee what's going on. And in this body of water, we can hear there's spring peepers, and there's also a muskrat swimming back and forth in this open water. So as much as there are really disruptive sounds right around here, life goes on. Life goes on here in the wild. And so I'm going to see if I can maybe now try and get some footage of that muskrat. I don't know what my luck will be, but it's like any sort of body of water, if it's kind of left on its own, will populate with wildlife. And that's what's really a cool thing to see. So I changed locations. I'm still at Westminster Ponds, but I'm at another location that I actually drove to. So this has got a marsh that I often will come to, no matter what the season happens to be. And this is where I've been able to film a little bit of muskrat activity. I've got a painted turtle across the way. Of course, I was able to film a painted turtle for you right at the end of the boardwalk at Westminster Ponds. But also, Mary Lou, she was over here as well with me. And we saw a great blue heron just fly just across the treetops and land in a tree. And then we lost track of it because we wanted to be able to get closer and film it. So anyway, it's exciting nonetheless. We're just trying our luck to see what else might be here, but there's a lot of bird activity, and of course this is the season when they are most active, fending off competitors from their territory, looking for food, and in some cases, oh my gosh, you had a chance to see that beautiful thing where it was newly hatched Canada geese. And there's a goose nest here, but the parents don't seem to be very attentive to the nest. They're here, but they're sort of in the distance. So I don't know if it's because they have laid eggs and the eggs have been going on and on and on without hatching. But anyway, that's where sometimes they're ready with a backup plan, which is to have batch number 2 in order to, try their luck at least at having some young for the season. Yeah, animals are well prepared for that. If something happens, like for birds where they're clutch gets damaged or eaten or anything like that, that they're typically able to have a second brood, and some of them are already inclined to have 2 broods, like mallard ducks. Not Canada geese, because Canada geese take a full year. They spend it with their young, and then the young take off when it's time for the next round of young to hatch out in the spring. So, all right, well, I'm going to just keep trying my luck and seeing what we might find here for you. So a couple more things to mention that I have seen since I arrived here. One was a solitary sandpiper. There was just basically a little puddle with a couple of mallards, a male and a female mallard, and a solitary sandpiper was on its own. So anyway, that was a neat sighting. And we've got some tree swallows here that are just hanging out in branches. Those are cavity nesters. I went past a birdhouse that's along in this open area, and I did see that at least one of them is occupied by tree swallows, so they like to have a cavity to retreat to. There's some dead trees that are near me, so they will often look for a cavity that's maybe been abandoned, but previously was used by a woodpecker. Very exciting with all this bird sound around us. So I'm out here on day 2, and it is considerably colder. I have gloves for today. So it started off at about -2 degrees today, and I know it's going to go up to about 15 or so this afternoon. But I came here yesterday to prepare myself for a hike that I was doing for a nature club today. We just parted ways. The group just, took off and went home. So now I have gone through the trail a couple of times because we had a really serious windstorm last night, and there are certain areas of the city that were hit harder than others, so I wanted to make sure there are no fallen branches and things like that impeding our ability to get around the trail. So I didn't film that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you now on my hike that I went with my group this morning, and we'll see what other forms of wildlife we come across. But this is where it's beautiful to be able to see the birds. Now we've got sunny skies. When I came here first thing this morning, it was a bit overcast, but it's beautiful and sunny right now. So you're going to come right along with me. So Westminster Ponds is a muddy trail, okay? So if you're planning to come out this way, you just should know that at this time of the year, which is the growing season, especially after a night of rain, that it's clay along the bottom of the trail. So it's going to be a good collector of water, and it's not porous like sandy soil or loamy soil. So you just have to come prepared. I'm wearing my rubber boots. That's the way I come dressed if I'm going to be hiking through Westminster Ponds. So it's an idea that you might consider as well. All right, away I go. So this pond that's behind me, it used to be called the Fish and Game Association Pond. I'll put the revised name, the new name, and this is one that is, the entrance to it is, it's a private club, which is owned by the Fish and Game Association, and the entrance to it is off Southdale Road. This is one that used to get stocked with fish, probably still does. People who are part of the club go in there and they can fish. You can see there's some docks. There's also some chairs where people can sit out and enjoy the view. And it's all surrounded by woods. So this is one of the Kettle lakes, Saunders Pond, this pond, and Spettigus. These three were created at the same time. We call them Kettle Lakes because they are sort of separate from each other. And they were formed during the last glacier, where the receding of the last glacier during the last ice age, so about 10,000 years ago. Anyway, it's kind of cool. Nice to be able to see the view from up here, and it's drier, it's not as muddy. Yeah, so if you want to find out the history of these buildings, I've covered that off in another video. I'm going to link that at the end, and you can find out a little bit of history here. But this used to be where I used to work when I taught environmental education for the public school board for the London Board of Ed. So anyway, tune in to the end and you'll be able to find out more details about that. Well, it's time for me to wrap it up here today. I've hiked this trail 3 times now. So when I took my group from Nature London around the trail, I just scooted along it the first time, then I brought them, and then I wanted to be able to retrace my steps so that I could show you, if you're interested in coming to Westminster Ponds and touring around Saunders Pond specifically. So anyway, great time of year, lots of bird activity, and lots of sprouting wildflowers. I didn't focus on them very much today, but I wanted to give you a chance to get a bit of a taste of the trail. Anyway, hope to see you out on the trail next Tuesday morning. Bye for now.